What's going on there, folks? Earthmaster here, checking in on the live stream on this February 12th, 2021. It's a Friday night, Friday evening, 6:43 p.m. West Coast time here in California, and going to do an update video here. A little bit of earthquake activity to cover around the globe here on this map here from the USGS. Pretty good sized earthquake out there around the Tajikistan area. I think I pronounced that correctly, Tajikistan. Almost a 6-pointer, borderline 6.0 earthquake out here. 5.9 struck at a depth of about 91 kilometers. Still felt by quite a few folks out there, no doubt. Seen some damage floating around on Facebook as well. Historical seismic activity shows that on the map of being a high risk area for seismic activity, as you can see there on the regional information here, and also this a little bit larger view here. Regionally, this is a pretty active area when it comes to earthquakes. And let's see this, get back here real quick. Yeah, 5.9, that's about, I'm not for sure. I'm sure there's some aftershock activity occurring there, just on the USGS map. I am not seeing it. It's got to be above 4.0 to show up on that map. Let me check the EMSC website and see if they are actually listing anything for aftershocks. And I don't see anything over there either. They just have that 5.9 listed there as well. But I'm sure there's aftershocks, just not showing up here on the map. The rest of the region over here shows pretty quiet. A little earthquake up there around Turkey, 4.6. That happened prior, much prior. To that 5.9. You know, a lot of people talk about the wave of motion or the wave of seismic energy, you know, how it kind of goes from this area and shoots over here to the west and whatnot around the globe. It doesn't always happen like that, though, folks. You know, we can kind of look at seismic activity on a movement scale and think, hey, well, the next activity should be over here, you know, over to the west, according to plate tectonics, but that's not always the way it happens here. Just like this 4.6 that struck well before the 5.9 today. So just a little notable mention there about movement when it comes to trying to predict earthquakes. Activity in the Pacific out here, South New Hebrides Trench. I know I've been corrected on that a couple times. I already forgot the pronunciation. I'll go back and check that here, but activity still kicking up here, following that 7.7 there a couple days ago now. Quite a few fives for aftershock activity. No larger from what I can see. Movement has been kind of confined to the main area of the epicenter where that 7.7 struck. A little bit of migration to the north and to the northeast. Other than that, your normal typical deep earthquake activity around the Fiji Islands area. 550, above 550 kilometers down below the surface for both of these quakes here, south and to the east of Fiji. Papua New Guinea region, a little bit of earthquake activity up there to mention as well, 4.6. 48 kilometers below the surface there. It looks like, let's see what do we got here. Definitely some historical seismic activity in that region. As far as the rest of the area here, a little bit of movement around the Indonesia Islands area, but no major quakes to write home about. New Zealand area, little quake, 128 kilometers below the surface. They're kind of in that subducting area of the Hikurangi Terrace. Subduction zone right here. I did a little update video on it a couple weeks back here. Major area of potential large seismic activity exists within this region. That's a pretty deep movement there for this area. 128 kilometers as mentioned, but a 4.5 well off the coast, but no doubt having some subductive characteristics to it. So keep an eye out for this area. What else we got? West Coast region here. Some movement, no doubt, to talk about in Southern California area. We got, hold on one second here. My dog wants out. I'm going to let him out here in a second. He's going to have to wait. What do we got here? Some movement north of the Ridgecrest area up around the Owens Valley fault system here. This is an area where a pretty large quake struck sometime back quite a few years ago. Let's go ahead and see where that four-pointer is at. That's going to be this one right here. 3 kilometers below the surface. While not a big quake, it's definitely an area out of the norm where we've seen quite a bit of aftershock activity following the Ridgecrest earthquakes. Back in 2019 now. Dang, it's been that long. That's crazy. And they could continue to have aftershock activity for quite some time. But movement up here to the north is definitely worth mentioning as we're getting a little bit closer to the Owens Valley fault system. The rupture of, when was it? Back in 1872. Pretty significant earthquake struck back there in that time. This area mainly confined to the east of that Owens Valley fault system. About, looks like about 3 miles or so. Not for sure what's out there as far as the satellite view goes. We can check that out real quick. Some type of, looks like farming activity out there, right? Greenery out there in the desert. It's got to include water and some type of crops growing out there. Maybe alfalfa, hay, who knows what. Anyway, for the most part, this activity confined well to the east of that Owens Valley fault area. It looks like some type of, looks like a lake or something out there as well. Or, some type of stream. Not for sure what it is exactly, but far as the underneath this activity, I'm not seeing any type of fracking, any type of operations like that. There's something over here, and I don't know if that's snow, sand, not for sure what that white area is, but it's desert out there for sure. So kind of keeping an eye on this region as we could potentially see migration up here and see further activity towards the north with this Owens Valley fault system here. So definitely worth watching in this region. Southern California, further down south, nothing really to mention. The swarming activity has died down south of the San Andreas fault system. Only a couple small microquakes in that area. 1.4, a little bit closer up here, a little bit closer to the sleeping giant, about 2.7 kilometers below the surface, but it is still just an automatic review, meaning that this could be revised and a location updated away from that area. San Jacinto fault area seeing some movement as well. Nothing out of the norm for the most part in that area. Looking up here to the north in Northern California, some further movement in kind of a strange area. We don't really see a whole lot of movement in this type of pattern. This is the northern part of the San Andreas fault system here. A couple small microquakes smack dab right on it, and also to the northeast area in the coastal range, right around the Willits area, Ukiah region as well. You got the, Macama fault zone. Pretty lengthy fault area. A couple months back, or a few months back now, if you remember, we had a pretty good swarm of activity up here around the Willits area. Nothing big, but it was definitely swarming for quite some time. Now just some sporadic activity, and in that area, it may show up here on the tremor map as to why that's occurring. I haven't checked it yet, but we will here in a second. Northern Sierra Nevada around Lake Almanor, right? It looks like right underneath Lake Almanor, to be exact. That's pretty crazy. A little small microquake there. Of course, quite a bit of snow, rainfall up here in the Sierra Nevadas, which is definitely needed. And some activity north of Truckee into the Sierra Nevadas. Nothing swarming up here, just a couple sporadic activity, earthquakes kind of just showing up. Also into the Intermountain West, into Idaho and parts of Montana and Wyoming. Activity on the uptick as well, including Washington. We'll go ahead and cover Washington real quick. Check out this little cluster of quakes out here along the Seattle fault zone. I did an update video, or put out a little documentary video on the Seattle fault system as well, I believe. It should be on my channel. underneath the videos. You'll have to search there for the Seattle fault. I believe I did, or I was going to. I'm pretty sure I did. This area, very capable of producing significant damage to the Seattle area should it produce a pretty good sized quake, which is very possible of. So seeing a little swarm of activity in this region is just a little on the concerning side. Now, of course, when the Cascadia subduction zone goes, right, that's this area off here off the coast, 9.0 or greater is going to rock the region, no doubt. But a pretty significant quake, say a 6.5 or so, right smack dab underneath Seattle, will do some major damage nonetheless as well. That Seattle fault system runs, well, you can see it here on this map, this regional map here. You can see these wavy lines. It goes right through Seattle. You're talking about some pretty good destruction should this thing produce a good-sized earthquake, which it's capable of. Not fear-mongering, just stating facts. If you want to check it out yourself, you're more than welcome to. Look up the possibilities of the Seattle fault zone. I'm not going to cover it tonight. I already put out a video. Check it out if you want. So yeah, nothing big right now, just a few microquakes worth watching and some deep activity as well, below 20 kilometers for the majority of these quakes here. Further down south, a little bit of movement around the Mount Rainier area, a couple small microquakes right smack dab at the summit area, and a couple earthquake or a small little microquake north of Mount St. Helens there. Let's go ahead and check out the Yellowstone overview real quick before we go into the tremor map. You can see a couple small microquakes over here around the northwest corner of the park once again. That's going to be these little small spiky spikes here on the graphs right there at Madison. I believe that's Madison seismograph there. Quite a few small spikes there. And as far as this other earthquake activity, or the signals, going to have to look at the regional overview here to see if it's also showing up on other seismographs, and I'm not seeing any type of activity. This could be geyser activity, or it could be who knows what. It does look a little odd, but it's not showing up on any of the other seismograph stations locally, so kind of counting this out as just kind of interference, or potentially geyser. I'm not for sure what's around this area. But for sure, earthquakes, microquakes here showing up in these well-defined spikes. That's not hard to see on this graph, and there's quite a few of them. So we're watching that area as well for potential further swarming, and a little bit of movement on its own. Let's go back to that map here, see if I can find it. A little bit of movement towards the central part, right here within the caldera of Yellowstone. A couple small quakes showing up in this area as well. All five of these earthquakes showed up on other distant stations. That's going to let you know there that those are indeed official earthquakes showing up there. You can see that on many of the stations there locally. So a couple independent swarms occurring around Yellowstone National Park. The tremor map real quick, zooming in here. Not a whole lot, folks. I'm really surprised. I kind of thought this would be a little bit more filled in down here to the south along the Cascadia subduction zone, but we're not seeing that. So trends and background historic seismic activity and tremor does not always go hand in hand when it comes to why things happen. So right now, just 30 epicenters of tremor right in the area of the Vancouver Island. That's been swarming or not swarming, but had quite a bit of tremor built up over the past week and a half or so daily in this region. It looks like it's calming down for the most part, and no further movement along the Cascadia subduction zone in the tremor department. Volcanic seismic activity at Mount Rainier. We'll go ahead and check that graph here real quick. You can see a couple of those small earthquakes there. The red dots indicating those two earthquakes that were shown on the USGS map. We'll go ahead and check out this seismograph station here. 3-component broadband should show the movement that occurred. Well, let's go ahead and go back to the other day and maybe release the last 24-hour period. And it should show up. Unless they have this data system so squashed to where we... Check this out. There's a 2.6. Look how tiny that is. I mean, this is so, the data is so, oh my gosh, you can't see anything. If there was a massive volcanic eruption there at Mount Rainier, it probably wouldn't even show up on this map, or at least on this seismograph station. So let's see what else we got here in this region that we can look at. Did we check this one? I don't believe we did. This one, well, let's see if this one shows it. Okay, let's go back a little bit further. There's that 2.6 showing up a little bit higher, right? A little bit more defined on this type of seismic band here. And that's definitely confirmed earthquake. It looks like there could be a couple more than what the USGS was showing here. Of course, and again, a lot of snow, a lot of ice built up on the volcanoes there in Oregon. I seen somewhere at Mount St. Helens that there was some avalanche activity showing up on the seismographs, and I'm not for sure if we can see it or not. We can check that out here in a second. But this could be snow, it could be ice movement, it could be anything. But stuff like this little one, and this little guy here look like confirmed earthquakes. This other stuff, not so sure about. Like I say, it could be a number of things there. Let's check out Mount St. Helens. We might have to go back. Mount St. Helens. There we go. Went over it like 3 times. See if we can zoom in here and find a pretty well amped up seismograph. Should be able to see the avalanches that were showing up. Maybe not. I seen an article floating around. 2.7 near Coos Bay. Definitely some earthquake activity right there. Some small quakes at Mount St. Helens. And that was from that 7.7 a few days ago. That's what a major earthquake will do, even halfway around the globe, to a very sensitive seismic graph station here when it's properly tuned. And that 7.7 rumbled the earth for quite some time, let me tell you. And there was many large aftershocks as well. So Mother Nature was definitely had a headache for a little while with the the wavy signs there. Now that just, like I say, this shows you how sensitive the equipment is that's used to pick up earthquakes in any given area. All right, folks. I am not for sure what happened with the live stream earlier. There was a humongous spike. I had like 100,000 views all at once on the live stream. I'm not for sure who shared it. I don't know if it was on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or what. But like, I was looking at my graphs here, and the live stream. This live stream itself. I'm doing an update as well, but the live stream itself has 74,000 views just since I started it up this morning, and that's like way higher than normal. In my 48-hour period, I've had 100,000 views, and that's that's actually a lot higher than I'm used to. So someone shared the live stream either through social media or whatnot, but I gained like 600 subscribers from it. So whoever shared it, thanks. I appreciate it. I'm trying to get this channel to grow. We're growing pretty rapidly. Up at around what's our subscriber count right now? 38,455 people. So I appreciate it. We're close. We're very close to 40,000. And then of course the next step, 50,000. But we're definitely coming a long way within the past couple years. This channel's been around for much longer, since 2006. But definitely been amped up. Thanks to all the viewers and whatnot, subscribers, and the committed people that tune into this channel daily have made that possible in the major increase to views and subscribers on this channel. So I definitely appreciate it. I do kind of want to do some type of giveaway. I don't know when. I don't know if we should wait till we're at 50,000. 40,000 is an awesome number because it's one more step up for this channel. when it comes to gaining popularity and whatnot. So maybe around 50,000, if we can get there, and it will happen pretty soon. I will do a giveaway and give out a few items. I don't want to say what they are right now, but I think it'd be cool to do. I really do. So as we get closer to 50,000 subscribers, I will put some stuff together. Maybe you guys can share some ideas of what you think would be really cool for this channel to give away, and we'll put it all together and see what works best, and shoot for a 50K subscriber giveaway. I think that'd be cool. All right, guys. I'm out of here for right now, unless something changes tonight. Have a good night, and we will chat to you guys another time. Please stay safe out there, everyone.